Okay, so we're taking a look at page 11, and there's a girl here with a baseball bat. When you round a number, you find a number that tells you about how much or about how many. Maya's baseball bat is 32 inches long. What is its length rounded to the nearest 10? Well, we have done number lines already, where we have created something like this, where we have 30 and 40. Well, here they're just they're extending it out. So round 32 to the nearest 10. Well, it is in between 30 and 40. And this one is 35. You're right. So 32 is closer. It's between the 30 and 40. 32 is closer to 30 than it is to 40. 32 is rounded to the nearest 32 rounded to the nearest 10 is 30. So the length of Maya's bat rounded to the nearest 10 inches is 30 inches. Now it's asking to round 174 to the nearest 100. Well, 174, I see 174 and I see a 1 here. So I know that it is in between the 100 and 200. And if I go right in between 100 and 200, I get 150. So 174 is going to be right about there. And so there's the 100, there's the 200. This is right in the middle, which is 150. So 170 is in between 100 and 200. 174 is closer to 200 than 100. So 174 rounded to the nearest 100 is 200. Okay, so this next page, I want to see if you can do a little bit more on your own. So it says round 718 to the nearest 10 and 100. Locate the label 718 on the number lines. So here is 700. I have to round to the nearest 10 and 100. So the first time I'm going with 10. So 718 is in between 710. Let me do this better. Here's 718. And if I think about it this way, forget about that. I've got 710 and 720. So it's in between 10 and 20. What's in between 10 and 20? 15. So I kind of just forget about this 7, and I know that 718 is going to be right about there. So 715 is here. 718 would be here. So 718 is closer to 720 than to 710. 718 rounds to 720. Now, if I'm looking at it to the nearest 100, let's see, 718 to the nearest 100, that's a lot easier because I'm looking at this number 7. So 700 and 800. And in between is 750. So I know 718 is all the way over here. So I know that it's rounded to, it's closer to 700 than it is to 800. So 718 is rounded to 700. Okay, I'm going to skip that. And now let's see what you could do. 46 is in between what? So you go ahead and do it. 46 is in between 40 and 50. 46 is closer to, 46 is here. 46 is closer to 50 than 40. So 46 is rounded to the nearest 10 is 50. Round to the nearest 10. Okay, so 19 is in between 10 and 20. 15 is in between there. So what is 19 rounded to? Go ahead and write it down. If you wrote 20, you would be correct. 66, if I'm using a number line, is in between 60 and 70. And I know 65 is here. So 66 would be there. So 66 is rounded to 70. 51 is in between a 50 and a 60. 55's here. So 51 is here. So what is 51 closer to? 50. Round to the nearest 100. Okay, so I have 463. So I look here at the 4, put 400, and then I know that if I count up one, it's 500. And I remember if I look next door, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we change every time. So that 4 turns into a 5. So it's 500. Let's try 202 with our little singing technique. So rounded to the nearest 100, so I have to circle the number in the hundreds column, and I look next door, and what does that number tell me to do? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't change anymore. So it doesn't change, it stays at 2, and I add the 0, so it's 200. And then I have 658. What number's in the hundreds column? The 6. I look next door. What does that number 5 tell me to do? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We change every time. So that turns into a 7. So it's 700. Okay, let's skip that one. We've done that. Okay, so let's look at number 13. There are 372 workers at a software company. So I know I have that number, 372. I'm going to go ahead and delete all this stuff to get it out of our way. So I have that number, 372. I'm just going to write it down. There are 483 workers at a lumber company. When rounded to the nearest 100, which company has 400 workers? Well, let's take a look. If I'm rounding this to the nearest 100, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we change every time. So that turns into a 4, so it's 400. Look at this one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we change every time. So that turns into a 500. So it's not this one. So I know that which company has 400 workers? The software company. So I want to make sure that I'm answering the correct question. Okay, let's take a look here. On which day did about 900 visitors come to the giraffe exhibit? So here is the giraffe exhibit, and I have to look at what's going to be rounded to 900. So I know this one, and that looks like it's it. So you want to look at your chart. Okay, so I'm going to let you do this on your own, but I'll kind of go through it with you. On which 2 days did about 400? So there's 2 days, about 400 visitors came. So you have to look here and find 2 days that about 400. Number 16, on which 2 days did about 800 visitors come? Okay, so another one, you want to make sure you find 2 days and you're looking for 800. Number 17, Cole said that 555 rounded to the nearest 10 is 600. What is Cole's error? Now he said 555 rounded to the nearest 10. So if I go 555 and I look at the tens column and I look next door, 55 is rounded to 60. So 555 to the nearest 10 is rounded to 560. He rounded it to the nearest what? So you would have to say he made the mistake of, that's your hint. Write 5 numbers that round to 360 when rounded to the nearest 10. Well, let's see. I know right away that 360 is one of them. And then I could go 361 because that rounds to 360. So I'm going to let you come up with some other ones. Select the numbers that round to 100. I'll let you go ahead and do that.